Hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. Check out this amazing haul I have in front of me. I am kind of blown away. Tanisa at Trinity Stamps sent me all of these goodies, which I was not expecting, and I didn't even realize, to be honest, that some of these things are available at her shop. And so I just had to share because I don't know how many of you who are watching know about all of this good stuff that you can get at Trinity Stamps. And just a little bit of a heads up, I'm going to be crafting with an upcoming release by Trinity, and I get to meet Tanisa in person at Creativation in April. So I'm really excited to be helping out at the Pear Blossom Press / Trinity Stamps booth. And so I'll get to meet some of my favorite crafty friends in our amazing community. And so that's going to be a ton of fun. And I just figured before I actually start using some of these amazing tools that Tanisa sent me, that I share them with you while they're still kind of pristine. And I want to help her get the word out because, especially of the blending buddies, which are I'm a little bit more new to, and if you haven't heard the story, I guess I'll tell it because I have to tell you how I came to know about these blending buddies. I was live streaming with it was a Crafty Fun episode. Carrie was on as one of the guests, Carrie Rhodes, and somehow we got on the topic of blending brushes, and I made a very there's no sense denying it because it's live. It's out there for everybody to see. There's a recording of it. I'm on the record saying this. I think I said something to the effect that pretty much all blending brushes are the same, more or less. It's really just like the cost. And until then, that had been my experience. And Carrie was like, well, have you tried the Trinity Blending Buddy brushes? And I told her, no, I haven't. And so she very kindly asked Tanisa to send me some. And Tanisa generously sent me 3 that I have been using the heck out of. And if you've ever noticed, like the only time that I do blending, I've been mostly doing sunsets because I have dedicated these 2 to my sunset colors. And and so that's why I've been, when I blend out a background, that's why everything has been happening at sunset. It's because these are the absolute best blending brushes on the market, I feel. They give you a really smooth blend every time. They pick up a lot of ink and they deposit a lot of it onto your paper. So a lot of what I have experienced in the past with some blending brushes is that they pick up a lot of ink, but they don't actually transfer it very well to your substrate. And so these are really, really great for that. You can, they're slightly domed, the bristles, so you get a really nice blend without super harsh straight lines. So that's what's really nice about them, because you can kind of see first it's circular, but then it's also domed. So really fabulous. So you can buy just the blending buddy brush individually or as a full set of 12 if you'd like, and then separately if you'd like to have a little bit of like an easy way to identify what color your brush is. There are the color clips, and so you can get these separately if you would like. And you just have to see how on the side here there's like a little hole. So here on the clip, you just slightly separate those enough so that you can just bend it around so that it fits into that little hole there. And so now you have a really convenient clip, and you can use this to hang, depending on how you like to store it. If you have pegboards, and you like to kind of hang a lot of your supplies off of your pegboard, then you can use this to hang it onto your pegboard, or you can just put it like that so that you have an easy way to identify what color brush this is just by looking at the top. So it's really nice. And then there's this piece as well, and I like to put it with the T on the bottom. That's just me. And then you can put this, you can set this in. And that way, when you look at it from the outside, you can see the cool fancy T. So the nice thing about having a color indicator in the cap is sometimes, like, some of my caps I get a little bit of ink on them, and so it is nice to actually have the brush go back into the cap that it originally came out of, just in case there was some ink that got into the cap. Like, this is my yellow one. You can kind of see on the edges there's a little bit of yellow there, right? If that was a darker color, say if that was red and I was putting my yellow lighter color ink back into what was originally a red cap, I might pick up some red and get that cross contamination. Which for some colors, maybe it's not that big a deal. If it's a darker color picking up something that's lighter, it's not a huge deal. But say if it was your white blending brush and you were putting it back into your red cap, that would be pretty bad if you're like me and you hate to see those things happen. Now, if your budget does not stretch to get all 12, then my recommendation, I've gotten pretty far with just having 3. And so I would definitely recommend, if you want to give these a try, don't just get one, maybe think about like the type of blending that you do, if it's like a blended background, and think about how many different colors you would typically use for whatever your standard typical project is when you're doing an ink blended project, and get that many brushes, because you can always wash these in between having to switch out colors, but I don't think you're going to want to do that in the middle of a project. So my recommendation is, if you want to try these out, which I definitely recommend doing because they are really, really great, I would maybe get 3, 4, however many you would typically use on a single project, and start with that, because then you can do like a full project without having to clean your brushes in between, and spending time cleaning just to finish a project. And then when you're done with your project, you can just clean them with a bit of soap and water, and then they're ready to go for your next project. They might be a little bit stained, but as you know, if you've used any other type of blending brushes, that can happen, but that doesn't mean that the color will transfer onto your next project. If you've cleaned it thoroughly, then it's good to go and you can use it for whatever the next color is. But I would recommend, especially if you do a lot of ink blending, that maybe try these if you haven't yet, and pick up enough to cover you for like what your standard typical project might be in terms of number of colors you might use. Because the other thing that's nice is, if you have like if you're doing a lot of sunsets and you have the 2 or 3 that you would typically use on a sunset, then you can go back and forth, which I find helps a lot with blending. Like, you can go back and forth between your yellow and your red and your because that's what I've done. I have red and I have yellow, and then I just go back and forth between the two to get an orange. And so if I only had the one, it would be hard to like clean this between putting some yellow down, clean it, then pick up red. Then if I wanted to go back to yellow, I'd have to clean it again, pick up some yellow, and then go back over. And so at least if most of your blending is between 2 colors, then pick up 2. And then that way you can kind of blend back and forth. You can complete your project and not have to spend time cleaning in the middle of the project. And you could just have, focus on having fun making your project, and then when your project is done, you can clean your tube, and then it'll be ready for the next time, and you can use whatever colors you'd like. So I would definitely, if you haven't given these a try, I would definitely give them a try because they're really awesome. So I'll set all of those aside. Next up are, so this I knew about because these little storage trays for embellishments, some of the embellishments that you buy on Trinity actually come in one of these little storage trays, but some of them come in zip baggies, which I think, either way, it kind of depends on your preference for storage because this is nice and flat. But these I actually really like because you can actually, they have such a wide opening. So this lid is really wide. So it makes it really easy to either just, pick out like a few that you need. And you can easily just grab them out, even just with your fingers if you wanted. And it's really easy because a lot of the other types of storage that I have anyways, they're like the little Tic Tac plastic containers, and the openings on those is pretty small. And so it can be kind of tough to, you definitely have to pour it out into something else to use. Here, you can just open this up, and especially if it's like this and there's some larger gems, you can easily just, pick them out and use it straight out of here. So you don't even have to like pour it out. But if you have embellishments in baggies, or even if you prefer to pour things out, you can use one of these tidy trays, which I really like because of its size. So the ones that I've been using, they are these triangle trays, which I'm sure you've seen me use this if you've seen my videos, but they're like that. And it's shallow in terms of like the side walls here, and it's smaller. It is nice because it does come to a very fine tip so that when you have to funnel this back in, it is nice for that. But another way that you can use these, or any embellishments really, is you can pour them out into your tidy tray here and shuffle them around a little so that you can kind of see, pick and choose. Like, I love that there's always a mix of sizes, so it makes it really easy for you to create really fun, dynamic little embellishments on your project. And to pick them up, you can use one of these amazing tools. So this is a pickup stick tool. It's dual-ended. So on the one end, it's a pokey tool, really sharp. So really glad that it comes with a cover cap. And then on the other end, you have a wax tip that you can use to pick up your embellishments. So there's that. And there. You can pick up even the small little gems. And so really convenient, really easy. Now this is wax here, so the more that you use it, this might start to get a little blunted, and you can always wipe this too if it feels like it's getting, sometimes my wax gets into because I put a little bit of glue, and then sometimes a little bit of glue gets on here. So you can always just wipe that down too if you feel like you need to clean it a little bit and reintroduce some of the its grabbing ability. But after a while, it's to be expected that this starts to wear down a little bit. So you can always get refills for the wax, and it comes in one of these little trays, storage trays as well, and you get two. So you would just unscrew the old one, and then you can put in a fresh tip whenever you need. So that's always an option as well. And I love that it's conveniently in one of these one of these storage trays because you can keep it right alongside everything else. And there is like a larger like bigger tray that all of these small containers will fit into. So it just depends on how you like to organize things, because there's different size trays, and then you can fit these little containers into them. So whenever you're done, the nice thing about the storage containers is like how big that opening is, and so it's super easy to get these right back in. And that's always been the tough part with the little ones that I have that are like Tic Tac containers, because the opening is so small. So that's why these triangle trays have been nice for that. But it is nice to work in this larger, tidy tray and have the larger opening. It just makes it so much easier to not make a mess and have a lot of cleanup. So really fabulous. You can get loads of these that are empty, and then even if you buy the embellishments that are in baggies, you can always transfer these into your storage containers and keep them stored there if you'd like. So love that there are so many tools, and Trinity has so many, like such a wide variety of different types of embellishments, from confetti to dewdrops to these gems. And so you can get quite an assortment. And I think there's a lot of clay slices and in lots of different fun shapes as well. So lots of goodies there. So these couple of other tools, this one, I was really astounded. I did not know at all that Trinity has an ergonomic bone folder. So if you watch any of my videos, you know I use mine every time I craft because I burnish everything. And so I love that they have one as well. It's really smooth, good to hold in the hand, and it is slightly different to mine. It's more angular, where mine is more curved. So there are some differences there, but I think that what that'll mean is you can probably, if you're using this to burnish a score line, you're going to get a really good crisp fold. So I love that. And I'll start using this to see how it compares to mine. They are pretty similar. I mean, this is very well worn in at this point. So a lot of how smooth this is, it might be just because I've used it for like many years now. So I really love that they have one. So if you're in the market, if you're looking for an ergonomic bone folder, now you know you can get one at Trinity. And they also have a pencil shaped bone folder as well. And I totally didn't know that either. So pretty cool. Like I use mine every once in a while, but it comes in handy when you have the need for one, because you can use this as a scoring tool, because it's blunted enough so that it won't like pierce through. So if you need a scoring tool to score a line on your scoreboard, for example, you can use it for that. But you can also use it for when you're curling, you want to put a curl into some of your paper, like if you are flower forming or anything like that. You can use this rounded end on this side for like in place of like a ball stylus. It's not super rounded like a ball. It's a little bit flat on the end, but you could definitely still use it like a ball stylus if you don't have one, and do some flower shaping, flower forming if you'd like. Because the whole barrel is round, you can use this to curl your papers, give it a nice curl if you'd like. So lots of fun different ways of when that might come in handy. So I love that. And then some other basic supplies. I didn't know Trinity had their own adhesive tapes. So these are rip and stick tapes. I love the name of them. This comes in two sizes. So this is 3 millimeters wide, which is maybe about 1/8 of an inch, and the other one is 6 millimeters. So that's maybe about 1/4 of an inch. And so tape on a roll, really, really fabulous. But check this out. You can actually get them by the sheet too. So this is a 6x9 sheet. You get 3 to a pack here. What's great about this is that if you saw my recent video where I used gilding flakes and I lined a A2 card panel with edge-to-edge adhesive, and I mentioned that I love using adhesive by the sheet because for techniques like that, it's really great because you can kind of space out whatever it is you're tiling onto your card base and then leave like a little bit of a gap where you can pour in some glitter. You can leave that exposed adhesive, pour in some glitter, use some gilding flakes, whatever you'd like, and it makes it so much easier to do because you don't have to worry about applying like really fine lines of adhesive. And it's great for album making as well. Where I like to use it in my album making is on the cover, where I definitely don't want to risk having anything that has a bubble or glue lines or anything like that. So having edge to edge adhesive sheets makes it so that whatever I'm applying, like the pattern paper, whatever, to my album covers, mini album covers, it's going to have like a nice full stick. It's going to be well adhered, and it's going to be nice and flat, and it won't have any bubbles. So this is a nice size. 6x9 is really convenient to work with because you could definitely use it for all sorts of card sizes: 6x6 cards, 5x7 cards, A2 size cards, or mini albums as well. And this is a good size to cover most size mini albums also. So if you didn't know, adhesive available at Trinity Stamps. So rip and stick. So you can get them on the roll, 3 millimeters or 6, and then you can get them by the sheet, 6x9. And then, now this is really cool. Look at all of these different types of shaker pouches you can get. And one of the things that I think is very novel and interesting about how these are designed is that, say for instance, we have slimline in 3 different slimlines. So you have your mini slimline, that's this one here. And then you have your regular slimline. But here's what's really cool. So if you wanted a full-size slimline, you can have that in this. So you could have this be edge to edge on your card, your slimline card. But if you wanted to have, say, a border around your shaker and then have your actual infinity shaker be slightly smaller so that it's actually like a layer on top, you can get the slimline layer shaker, and it's going to be slightly smaller than your full size slimline. So it's basically maybe 1/4 of an inch all the way around. And that gives you, if you wanted to make your slimline and have a 1/4 of an inch border all the way around, you can use the layer slimline shaker. And I love that as an option. I've never thought about that as an option before. And I think that's because I just didn't know that anybody made that available as an option, as, pouches that are easy and ready to use. So you can get that in different sizes as well. So there's A7, which I think is 5x7 cards, right? And so you can get both the A7 shaker and the A7 layer. And you can see the layer is just smaller. So you can see the glue tabs here would get folded back, and then you would adhere something to the back to close off the shaker. And so the layer one is just, just a smidge smaller than the full size. And then for all of you A2 card makers out there, of course, there's a set for A2 as well. So you have the A2 shaker and the A2 layer shaker. So you've got those options for you. And then it doesn't stop there. Look at this. Now this I have definitely not seen before. And so this is really awesome. They are circle shakers. And what's nice is that it tells you exactly the size, 4 1/4, 3 1/4, and 2 1/4. And why that's really nice is that you can, if you have a nested shape, nested circle die set, all you would really need to do is find a circle die that will cut you that same size, and that can be the back that closes off your shaker. So this does already have the glue tabs are this is what makes circle shakers pretty awesome and convenient, because if you didn't have this already done for you, I think it would be kind of hard to do it yourself to make a circle shaker, because of the fact that you would have to cut a perfect circle for one. And then you can kind of see these tabs. This is like what they do in sewing a lot, where you have to, have a curve and you need to kind of sew that edge. It's sort of mitered. So you can see there's some acetate that's been removed. And that's so that as you glue these down, you're not going to have like a lot of overlapping plastic. And it just lets you actually create that circular border, but not have a bunch of excess plastic on the back, and still have, seemingly a very perfect circle. I mean, of course, these are straight lines right here where it's folded, but overall, you're still gonna have the impression that it's a perfect circle. And so how awesome is that? I mean, that's pretty cool. I've never seen circular shaker pockets done in this way. Like, I've seen a lot of more dome style ones, but this is cool because you can make like a relatively flat shaker out of this. Because once you have all of these folded down, you would fill this with bits. This is the 2 1/4 inch size. So then you would cut, whatever you'd want on the back behind your shaker window. You would cut a circle that's 2 1/4 inches, and then adhere these tabs. Just fold the tab over and stick it down. It's as easy as that. I cannot wait to craft with these circular shakers. I think that's just really awesome. That looks like it's going to be great fun to craft with, and so different. I really have not seen anything like this before. So so it's so awesome. So big thank you to Nisa for sending this to me, because I didn't even know that such a product existed. So it comes in 3 sizes: 4 1/4, 3 1/4, and 2 1/4. So this is like very nearly an A2 card here, and these would be great as a nice focal image on a card. And even the small one, you could probably add 2 or maybe even 3 on a card, just depending on the size card you were making. So really awesome products from Trinity that, to be honest, I didn't know that they had such a variety. So again, my thanks and gratitude to Nisa for sending me these lovely products to craft with, and I cannot wait to start using these tools, start crafting with some of these supplies, and sharing those projects with you. In the meantime, if you're curious and you want to check out any of these yourself, I'm going to leave links to everything in the description box below. And of course, I'll be sharing my affiliate link. So if you do end up making a purchase using my link, then it's possible I'll earn a commission from that. So thank you in advance. And until next time, happy crafting and have a fabulous day. Bye.